Hello, 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 hello. I'm Lynn Browder, and I have a son, Owen, who is 11, and we paint together. He has autism, and so we use a hand-over-hand method to work on his fine motor skills. And he does the backgrounds with me, and then I paint the rest. And I paint a lot of flowers. So here we are painting flowers. And tonight's edition of flowers are like a chalk paint flower. So we'll see how this goes. Because if you've watched before, you know that it can change. It can change quickly, but that's okay. I think I got enough stems. Usually they're half covered up anyway, so that's okay. So now, if you've watched before, I like to put a lot of paint on my paintbrush. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I like to do the googly gosh, and it gets me in trouble sometimes because I have paint that falls places, and it really shouldn't. So we have to just be careful with that. But we shall try to make it work. And so with the chalk flower look here, you can't just use white because, well, I should say I can't just use white. I'm sure there's probably tons of people that can use just white and make an amazing chalk flower looking kind of picture. But I'm not that person. So I tend to just, we can add a little color. That way it can kind of define like the shades a little bit more. And if it's kind of like it's the absence of the color that makes it the color. So you just have to kind of play with it and find what works for you. So, and sometimes you have to add more color to get back to the less color, if that makes any sense at all. And I'm probably not even explaining it very well because this you've probably also heard numerous times if you've watched any of my videos before. I'm tired. I'm tired. I live my life in a tired zone. I think that's what it is. My son is sleeping better, but that doesn't always happen. So, we kind of got to go with the flow here a little bit some days. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I've got some darker grays on here, and kind of mix them in with the lighter colors, and then you fill in the blanks, because the white and the chalk, the shades, the grays, that all kind of has to blend in there too. And I've got several shades of the gray well, here, see, this is all the grays, and then this is actually more of a cream color. Might not be easy to see on there, but that's more of a cream. And what happens sometimes is when I'm putting like something like that, I'll blend it in there so that it's a lighter shade of all of this, and you see how I make that. But that's actually what this is. This is the paint blob jewelry. I have paint blobs, all different kinds of, they're going to be necklaces and charms and different things. But once the paint dries, it becomes paint blob. So, so that's what is happening here. And when you're coloring in the different pieces, you know, the different angles, like if you make the flower a little thicker on one side, then it kind of looks like it's turned. So that's, you know, if you use the different lights and the different angles, that's what's going to happen when you push it all out there. And I tend not to change paintbrushes when I'm doing this. It's just because I like that texture of having all of those colors underneath it and all of the shades that it does, because I can just kind of spin it around and it makes other colors. So that's you know, how I kind of started doing it, and it makes me happy to do it that way. So that's why I do it, because you can see it kind of gives it the depth that we're looking for in the different colors. I had never really painted before, and then when Owen was having more trouble with his fine motor skills, I started trying to find ways to help him. And my friend said, "You really need to paint with him." And I said, "I don't paint." And she said, "You still need to paint with him. You can do it." I do all kinds of other crafts and have done tons of, you know, different things, sewing and crochet and knitting and just cross stitch and you name it. But painting was just not one of them. And, you know, I had my rough spots, I can surely tell you that. But the more that I did it, the more I realized that honestly, this is not as much for Owen as it is for me, because I get to share this incredible journey with him, and him helping me, you know, paint these paintings and do that. So it's part of him, part of me, and being able to share our story. It's another way to share our story. And so that in itself is part of this glory, is part of this fun. And so, yeah, I started out trying to paint with him, but I can tell you, this is now just as much, if not more, about what I'm doing and how it's helped me. I was going to put another one out there as I was heading towards that, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. So I've got to reevaluate the situation. This one I really like, but it feels kind of disjointed, and so I was going to try to put something in there. But I think I'm just going to have to like adjust it this way as like another little like kind of something. Sometimes I get a little slap happy with them. Excited or something, I'm not sure. And it's okay, like, you know, I'm gonna have other little doodads. This is me in the way too much paint category. Because I can, you know, just kind of do some little things over here, and it needed something to kind of, you know, change it up a little bit. So painting has now become like one of my favorite things, and I've actually been painting for over 4 years, every day for over 4 years. And so it has truly gotten me through some emotional moments. I lost my brother in 2021, and that has been a heartache and just so much. And so painting has been an incredible blessing for me in so many ways. So looking at it and knowing, just, you know, just knowing so many different parts of it, it helps. I'm trying to decide what I want to do down here, because I want something, but I've kind of got myself in a, I don't know, something's heading in a direction, so I need to adjust, recalculate, adjust, figure it out. Sometimes you gotta go and just reevaluate what's going on and see the darkness and the brightness, you know, that kind of changes things as well. So that's what's gonna happen right over here. So it's kind of again, that chalk effect without having too much of the stuff happening. So then I'm going to go back in here, and I got to get my brush thinned out here. Just put a few little doodads. I don't like to make leaves. That's one of my my words. I don't like to make a lot of leaves down here, because then it feels too thick for me. Because I have a slight shake, and so when I do something like that, I tend to I have to be very calculated about how I'm doing it, and so that kind of changes things sometimes for me. So and I'm gonna stick a couple little things over here. I just want it to, when it dries too, it's going to take on a kind of another little bit of a, you know, look to it. And so as dark as this is, it's kind of gonna go fade. So I want it to just kind of be there. So I think I'm almost just adding a little bit of that texture for stuff. A little more in here. It's funny, I tend to get quiet when I'm doing these little tiny details because I overthink it all. Then I'm like, oh no, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I should have done that. I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Like that one was too thick. But what we can just do is go back in here. And that's the beauty of this dark background, is you can shade it and it's not gonna, like, it won't stand out as much as you think it's going to, or change what's happening. So that's the good aspect of it, or the different aspect. Now see, I'm gonna add, I'm over analyzing all of the pieces on this one. So I think that is, I said is it, but this one feels a little flat. It's like it needs a little fancier. It just needed a little fancier head there. Like it was more important than it wasn't as important maybe as it should have been. So see, this is what happens at this point, is this just gets all flattened out, and I'll do a better job, but that gets all flattened out. And then it takes a couple days to fully dry, but then it gets made into the jewelry. So this is almost as much fun, just spreading out the the paint. It just is fun. I encourage you to spread paint. Spread paint. Oh, and see, I didn't even put, I'm forgetting what I'm doing here. I always sign O for Owen, and I've got my paint all mixed, so there you go. And then L and B. There we go. I usually do that sooner, so I have a little bit different color, but it was all kind of mixed in my thing. So I thank you for watching, and I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day. I'll get it out. So thanks so much. Toodles.